Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to begin with class 9 mathematics because this one I couldn't start due to certain reasons as we were focusing more on class 10, 11 and 12. So we just decided that due to people requesting, we just decided that we will start off with class 9 mathematics also. So today what we are going to start with would be chapter 6, lines and angles. Now before we really proceed, of course I believe that all of you are staying safe at home. One request is please stay safe, stay at home, and then we are all here to teach you and then give you the best that we possibly can. Now of course one more request from my side is please watch the full video. Only then after that, if you like the videos, please do subscribe to the channel so that you can get regular notifications on the new videos that are being uploaded every day. Okay, and if you like the video, of course please do like the video, and then of course do share with a maximum of your friends so that all the people, those who are having problems, these videos actually were really developed actually to concerning the students actually, because there are many students who are not able to attend online classes because there may be many reasons regarding that. So due to that reason, of course, I started this video channel so that you can log into it anytime and watch the video. Okay, now without wasting much time, let's go straight to the point. That is, today of course we will be discussing more about like just the concepts about angles, okay, lines and angles. So we'll go back we'll take a walk to our memory lane and then see what we really retain about angles. Now before we really begin, let's see what is an angle. Now and then before we really go to an angle, what is the difference between a line segment and a line? You know, a line segment is actually what? A part of a line which has like two end points. That part of a line is actually, line just goes on, isn't it? That's always a line. So a line segment is what? A part of a line which has like two end points, 1 and 2, right? And of course we also have a ray. Now what is a ray? A ray is again another part of a line which has like one end point and one initial point. So this one we can call as the initial point. Initial point means from where it begins, and this may be the end point. All right, now these things of course we have already done, we already know. So let's quickly recap, let's quickly rewind. Like, what is an angle? An angle is actually what? Formed by two rays, isn't it? Formed by two rays where the initial point of the two rays meet at the same common point, right? Formed by two rays. So for example, like this may be one ray, right? Another one, this may be one ray. So like this may be the initial point, this may be the initial point. So if the two rays come together like this, where the initial points meet at this point, then what happens? An angle is formed. This angle is formed. So an angle is formed actually what? By two rays, where the initial points actually have the same common point. They meet at the same point. So for example, if this is C, if this is A, if this is B, then an angle is, then of course what happens is an angle is formed. Okay, now this two rays, no, one ray, two ray, this two rays, of course you can write, if you want, like an angle. If you want the definitions, always, like when you come to the video classes, please make sure you bring your pen, your paper, and then start writing down. Of course you can pause the video for now, go collect your pen, paper, rough pen, just go on writing down the notes. So that's the way we learn, right? So let's continue with our learning process. So an angle is the union. An angle is the union. An angle is the union of two non-collinear rays, of two non-collinear rays. I'll discuss about this collinear and non-collinear also. Let's just finish this. Okay, two non-collinear rays with a common initial point. That's what we call it, isn't it? Right. Okay, an angle is the union of two non-collinear rays, non-collinear, collinear, I'll discuss about that, with a common initial point. Done? Finish? Shall I rub it off? You can pause the video, write down, I'm just going to rub it off. Okay, now, so that's what it says. An angle is formed by two non-collinear, actually non-collinear and collinear. What happens is, this is what it means, collinear. Now, collinear and non-collinear, non-collinear. Now, what is the meaning of collinear and non-collinear? It's quite simple. Collinear means chalo, together, right? Non-collinear means la chalo, separate. That's what we call, okay, collinear, non-collinear, right? So when we talk of collinear points, then what happens is collinear points, two or more points are said to be collinear if actually they are lying on the same line, no? Like 1, 2, 3, all on the same line, 4 also. So in that case, we say that they are collinear points, right? Non-collinear may be like 1, 2 point here, another point here, another point here. So like this 4 points, this two collinear, but these 4 points not on the same line, isn't it? So we say not collinear points. Then of course when we say collinear rays, collinear lines, that means like one line, another line, same line on top of each other. We say collinear lines, non-collinear lines, right? So that's a simple concept. Collinear means like together on the same line, right? Non-collinear means okay, there's on the separate line. So the union of two rays with a common initial point forms an angle. Alright, now this is the angle that is being formed. This is called the interior part of the angle, and this is called the exterior part of the angle. How can we name this angle in that case? Now you see one ray there, together meeting like this. So this can be used, we can name this as angle BAC. Okay, angle B. See, when we're talking of this angle, no, we're talking of this common point, isn't it? So remember that this common point should always come in the middle. Okay, it should always come in the middle. BAC. See, the path should follow. Or we can also name CAB. Sometimes in geometry portion, some teachers, not teachers, like students, I mean, students are confused, like the teacher writes BAC, next line he again writes CAB. That's very correct, because like my main concern is angle A, so but don't get confused, that's what I mean. Or in simple words, I can write, when there is no confusion, I can just write angle A also. So this part is called the interior of angle A, and this is called the exterior of angle A. Okay, so that's what we call an angle. Now let us discuss about different kinds of angles, like different types of angles. Okay, let us discuss about different types of angles. The first one would be a right angle. The first one would be a right angle. Now we all know this. Okay, we have done all these things in our lower classes, and also these are like not very new for us. So right angle, what was a right angle? A right angle was an angle which was made up of like 90 degrees, isn't it? 90 degree, right? A right angle is an angle whose measure would be 90 degrees. So it's something like this. Right angle measure is 90 degrees. Then of course we have, this is just like a revision. Let's quickly, we are going to need this knowledge, so that's why. Another one would be acute angle. Acute angle. Now, what is an acute angle? An acute angle is an angle whose measure, okay, let me just write here, whose measure is less than 90 degree. Right, measure is less than 90 degree. Then of course we have obtuse. We have obtuse angle, isn't it? We have obtuse angle, that is like whose measure is like more than 90 but less than 180 degree. Of course I forgot to mention about one more. Please note down. I forgot to mention about a straight angle and all. Definitely I'll discuss about that also, don't worry. And the one is straight angle, S-T-R-A-I-G-H-T, straight angle. Straight angle is an angle whose measure is how much? 180 degree. Right, these were some of the angles. And then, shall I rub it off? Then reflex angle. Then we have reflex angle. Now what is this reflex angle? This is like whose measures like more than 180 degree but less than 360 degrees. Measures more than 180 degree but less than 360 degrees or something like this angle. Okay, now I forgot to tell you about one thing. Like when we measure an angle, no, an angle is there, like initial point, two rays, this is the angle. How do we measure the angle? Like we measure like this in this direction, or we measure like this in this direction. Remember, it's always anti-clockwise. That means which one? The second one, anti-clockwise. Okay, angle is always measured anti-clockwise. Always remember that. Very, very important. Anti-clockwise. Always measured anti-clockwise. Reflex angle also finished. Then another one is number 6, complementary angles. We have all done this in our lower classes, but quick revision. Complementary angles. Complementary angles, like if you have like two angles, angle A, angle B. No, if you have two angles, like okay, let me just rub A, B, C, P, Q, R. So I'll just name this B and Q. So if the sum of two angles, angle B and Q, is 90, then what do we say? We say that they are complementary angles, isn't it? Then of course you remember supplementary angles. So supplementary angles, two angles are said to be supplementary. What if their sum is how much? 180 degree, right? So I hope you remember all these things. Then of course, because the basics are very important, no? Because in mathematics, if your basics are not good enough, you will have lots of problems. There's a video where in first video that was like a number system. A quick intro on number system. I would request all of you to quickly go through that video because that's really going to help you with our number system in mathematics. Then of course we have another one is angle bisector. This is not the types of angle but just something which I think you should know. Angle bisector. What is an angle bisector? For example, if you have an angle A, B, C, and then there is like one ray, let's say X, then what happens is like this was the angle, then this ray, what happens? It has cut this angle into two parts, isn't it? If so that ABX, okay, ABX, if so that ABX is equal to CBX, that means this ray BX has cut the angle ABC into two equal parts. In that case we say that BX is the ray BX, no? The ray BX is the bisector of angle ABC. Got that? Yeah. So angle bisector also finished. So these were some of the basic terms. Then we will discuss about angle relations. Let's do this very quickly. Okay, angle relations. The first one would be adjacent. ADJACENT. Adjacent angles. Now what are called adjacent angles? Adjacent angles. Two angles are said to be adjacent, neighbors. Okay, neighbors. But there are some conditions. Two angles are said to be adjacent if, like, they have the same vertex. Now sorry, I am very sorry about that ray. I forgot to discuss about two things. I said, if you remember, this was the interior, this was the exterior. These two are also called arms. Okay, arms of the angle. Arms of the angle. And this point, the common point where the two rays meet, this is generally called the vertex. Okay, this is generally called the vertex. So at the end, definitely I'll give you a proper definition of the angle, combining to the definition that I gave you. So for adjacent angles, what should happen is like they should have the same vertex, and of course they should also have a common arm. So for example, like this is one angle A, B, C. You can just remember the concept of neighbor. So and then like there is one arm, any arm X. So what happens is this for this we get like two angles, this angle and this angle. Now look at these two angles. That is angle A, B, immediate neighbors, I would say, immediate neighbors. And angle X, B, definitely they are not equal. But what happens is like they share the same common vertex B. You see, they share the same common vertex B. They also share the same common ray, BX. So same common vertex, same common arm. So in that case, we say that these two angles are adjacent. So no, that's why immediate neighbors. They should have the same vertex, they should have a common arm. So in that case, we say that these angles are adjacent angles. So these are also like revision, types of revisions only. I hope you have noted it down. Next, we discuss about linear pair. What is a linear pair? We can write down quickly write down the adjacent angles. Write down the adjacent angles are said to form a linear pair. The adjacent angles are said to form a linear pair of angles if they're non-common arms. This is a definition, but I'll explain you in a different way. If they're non-common arms are two opposite rays. Okay, are two opposite rays. Form a linear pair of angles if their non-common arms are two opposite rays. Important, are two opposite rays. Okay, done. You can pause the video and write down. Okay. Now, when can that happen? That can happen actually what? Where generally we will need a straight line. For example, like this is a straight line. No, straight line. Like this is one, and then like this is the common arm. So this was the full angle. So this angle is like cut into two halves. This angle and this angle. Right. So it's cut into two halves. One is this angle, right, and the other one is this angle. So we have like two angles that are being cut. So now what you will see, as I say, the common arm, so that's why we have these adjacent angles, right? Adjacent angles, same common vertex point, but two opposite rays, this ray and this ray. So we have like two opposite rays, opposite, right? So if we say A, B, C, D, then what linear pair will be? Angle A, B, C and angle A, B, D. These are called linear pairs. So in other words, the way I used to remember would be like, in other words, if a straight line is cut into two angles, if a straight line is cut into two angles, 1 and a 2, right? If a straight line is cut into two angles, then we get a linear pair. Pair means two, no? So we get a linear pair of angles. We get two pairs of angles. Now there is a small theorem with regards to this linear pair of angles. Okay, there's one theorem, Theorem, theorem. Can you please kindly write it down? Or you can do one activity also. Let's do one activity very quickly. All you can do is, what you will do is draw a straight line. Quick. Draw a straight line. You can pause the video. Go quickly, bring the protractor. Okay, bring the protractor, scale, pencil. Got that? Okay. Okay, you've come back? Fine. Now, what you will do, draw a straight line. Quickly, very quickly, you draw a straight line and draw any ray. That's up to you. Any ray. You draw any ray. Okay, mark a point on the line and then you draw any ray. Done. Now what you will do is you will take your protractor. You will take your protractor and measure this angle. Quickly measure it. You can always pause the video and go back because I'll be just continuing with the classes here. and you measure this angle also. Okay, so you've measured angle 1, you've measured angle 2, right? Now you add angle 1 and 2. How much do you get? If you add angle 1 and angle 2, what do you get? Do you get 180 degrees? That is the theorem that I will be talking about now, that I'm going to give you. So you have checked that with your own activity also, isn't it? You've checked that with your own activity also. So the theorem is, if a ray stands, on a line, then if a ray stands on a line, then the sum of the, let's do it quickly, then the sum of the adjacent angles, so formed is 180 degree. Okay, sum of the adjacent angles so formed is 180 degree. As I say, if you have a straight line and then like there is a ray which cuts the angle into two parts, so like 1 and 2, only when it's a straight line, okay, opposite rays, no? 1 and 2, that means angle 1 plus angle 2, then I will 180 degree. Okay, got that? So that's the theorem. I hope you have written it down. Another one is there that is already, like, we know that very well. That is, what is the theorem? One more theorem. That also you can do an activity, but let's just, that too we already know. So that is like sum of all the angles. Sum of all the angles around a point. Sum of all the angles around the point is 360 degree. Okay, right? Okay, now. Okay, I think that should be enough for today's video. So, what have we studied? We have studied about angles, right? We have studied about angles, that I've given you the definition. What is an angle? An angle is the union of two non-collinear rays with a common initial point, right? And the two rays are called arms. Okay, the two rays are called, which form an angle, are called the arms of the angle, and the common point is called the vertex of the angle, right? And this is called the interior part, this is called the exterior part of the particular angle. Then we quickly brush through the different kinds of angles, and of course adjacent angles and linear pairs of angles. So in the next video, what I will do is, there is a small topic called vertically opposite angles. That also we will discuss, and the most interesting part, and we are going to solve problems from the first exercise of chapter 6, lines and angles. So please do subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, please hit the like button and follow the channel, so that I will see to it that you learn this chapter very thoroughly. Okay, all right then. Thank you. Stay safe.